need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
My next question comes from Mansfield, Texas, and Jasmine is writing in. Jasmine says, "Hello, Betsy. I love your podcast." I love to hear that, Jasmine. You write, "Thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge on interior design. My burning question is about picture lights. I put together a gallery wall in my entryway. Please see the photo I've attached. I would love to install picture lights over this gallery wall. I'm not sure if I should get 4 picture lights and install them directly over the top of each picture or only install 3 in between each picture. All the photos that I have 1 picture light over 1 photo, but since I have 4 photos over the top, I'm wondering if it would look weird with 4 lights instead of 3. The thought has me second guessing doing the picture lights all together. I love the look of them and think that they offer a more upscale look to my space. In your opinion, what is best?" Well, Jasmine, as you know, I do have a strong opinion, and this one, well, it may sting a little. I love a good picture light. I think that they can really enhance the look of an image. They can draw your eye to the look of an image. It can be a really nice way to provide illumination like a wall sconce that's just more subtle than a wall sconce because it's directed down towards the picture versus providing atmospheric light. I love wall lamps because they don't always have to be hardwired. Some can be plug-in, some can be battery operated. So I do think there are a lot of times and places for art lights above pictures. However, the thing that determines it for me is not necessarily the architecture. The thing that determines whether or not a picture gets a light, in my humble opinion, is whether or not that picture is very special. You know, if I'm going to illuminate something, if I'm going to put a spotlight on something, it needs to be really special. You have a gallery wall of, they're probably 20 by 20 inch frames, maybe 24 by 24 inch. It's a thin black frame with a very chunky, probably 4-inch mat. And inside you have black and white pictures of your family, and you have 3 rows of 4. Okay, so that kind of paints the picture for those of you listening and not watching on YouTube. My concern, while these pictures are very special, I mean, what could be more special than a gallery wall of family photos? I do think photos in general are slightly more pedestrian than, say, an oil painting, a very special drawing. Typically, a picture light may be used to enhance your ability to see the picture. And in this case, all the images are very clear. I actually think a picture light would detract from these images. I think the last thing we need here is more multiples, right? We already have 3 rows of 4, and then we're going to add another row of picture lights. And this is in the entryway where it could start to be a little cluttered, a little visually chaotic. We don't need too many things. We don't need to gild the lily. Now, of course, they do make really long picture lights, and you could just do one centered over the whole space. But my concern is that these just feel like not the right artwork for a picture light. I also worry that the glass right now has a lot of glare and there's no light directly on it. You have a chandelier in the entryway, but it's up high. But already I see just a ton of glare, which is causing me to not be able to see the picture all that well. The more that you spotlight these, the less I'll be able to see the image. Unlike an oil painting, where it will actually help to highlight the 3D effects of the oil popping off the canvas. When you're thinking of installing a picture light or not, I want you to think, is this picture truly special? Is this picture light going to enhance the picture or actually detract from it because it's going to be visually chaotic and cast a lot more glare? Therefore, You know my vote. My vote in this moment is absolutely no picture light. There's lots of other ways that you can make this space feel more elevated. I think for sure you're going to need a nice big rug. I love the idea of the black bench you have under the black frames. I would, of course, center it. And it is a lot of black. So consider breaking up all this sort of hard black material, be it the wooden bench or the picture frames, with something soft like a lumbar pillow whose color or textural pattern might relate back to the rug. There's lots of ways to elevate this space, and the picture light, in my humble opinion, is not the right answer. All right, let's move to my next question. Guys, you're catching me at a very vulnerable time, right? You know that every day when I leave my squirrel infested cottage to head to my house that is covered in dust, covered in drop cloths, ladders as far as the eye can see, no systems, total chaos, I'm on edge. My nerves are frayed. And if you're sending me in a question in the next month or so, just be prepared for more smackdowns than normal. I need a massage. I need a long soak in a tub. I need to probably get out there and storm around some nature. A big thank you to Aton and the Embassy who wrote our theme song. A shout out to Catherine Heller who owns the podcast shop and is our editor extraordinaire. We also want to thank Ginny Sunasan and her team at the Savvy Podcast Agency for their help with our social, our YouTube channel, and so much more. We also want to thank Uploft, which is our parent company who supports this podcast. And lastly, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your support.